The concept of instant manifestation feels unreal to most people for one simple reason. They've been conditioned to believe that reality moves slowly, that results require time, and that effort is the currency of transformation. So when someone hears that reality can respond immediately, the mind dismisses it as fantasy. Yet the truth is far more unsettling than mere disbelief. Reality is not slow. It only seems slow when resistance exists within the observer. The quantum field does not follow human schedules. It does not negotiate with patience, motivation, or discipline. It responds to coherence. And coherence is not something you develop gradually. It is either present in the moment or it isn't. This is where most people completely misunderstand manifestation. They think strength comes from intensity, from wanting harder, visualizing more, repeating affirmations with force. But intensity without coherence produces noise, not power. And the field does not respond to noise. It responds to clarity. From a quantum standpoint, reality collapses around the most stable signal being emitted, not the loudest, not the most emotional, but the most stable. If your desires entangle with urgency, fear, doubt, or inner pressure, the signal fractures, and fractured signals collapse familiar outcomes, not new ones. This explains why so many claim they've been manifesting for years without seeing results. They were never weak. They were conflicted. One part of them wanted the outcome. Another braced against disappointment. Another tried to control the timing. Another feared what would shift if it actually arrived. The field perfectly mirrors that internal conflict. Instant response only occurs when that conflict dissolves. Neuroscience clarifies this in a grounded, almost harsh way. The nervous system does not respond to what you want. It responds to what feels safe. If the body operates in chronic stress, hypervigilance, or survival mode, reality cannot reorganize rapidly. Perception slows, action delays, opportunities are filtered, not to punish, but to protect. So when people say manifestation takes time, they are really describing the time it takes for the nervous system to feel safe enough to allow change. Time is not the cause, regulation is. This explains why two people can desire the same outcome and experience vastly different speeds of manifestation. One is relaxed, coherent, and neutral. The other is tense, urgent, emotionally entangled. The field responds at first almost instantly, while the second faces delays, detours, and resistance. Not because the universe favors one person, but because one is not interfering. Instant manifestation is not about forcing reality to comply. It's about removing the internal conditions that block response. When resistance falls, response happens naturally. When emotional noise quiets, coherence strengthens. And when coherence strengthens, probability collapses clearly. This is the part that feels threatening to an identity built on effort, because it implies that pushing harder has never been the solution. It implies that control is not power. It implies that the quickest way to change reality is to stop struggling internally. Spiritually, this echoes what mystics have said for centuries. The moment you stop grasping, things arrive. The moment you stop chasing, alignment emerges. But without a scientific framework, this notion feels vague. Quantum mechanics and neuroscience give it structure. When the observer ceases emotional oscillation, the system stabilizes. When the system stabilizes, the field responds without delay, not magically, but mechanically. This does not mean doing nothing. It means action arises from clarity instead of urgency. It means desire exists without attachment. It means certainty replaces hope, and certainty is silent. The reason instant manifestation feels rare is that true internal silence is rare. Most people are constantly broadcasting mixed signals without noticing, wanting and doubting simultaneously, trusting and controlling at the same time, asking and bracing simultaneously. The field can only respond to one signal. This is why the strongest manifestors do not appear intense. They appear calm. They do not talk much about what they want. They do not persuade. They do not wait anxiously. They act when it is obvious and pause when it is not. Their power lies not in effort, but in the absence of resistance. Once you grasp this, the idea of reality responding instantly stops sounding mystical. It begins to feel inevitable. The moment you understand why effort slows manifestation, everything you were taught about trying harder begins to collapse. not because effort is useless, but because effort often signals internal misalignment. When you are fully coherent, effort becomes minimal, movement still occurs, yet it feels frictionless, almost automatic. From the quantum perspective, the field responds to one thing alone: signal integrity. If the signal is distorted by emotional interference, response is delayed or fragmented. This is not a moral system. The field does not judge whether you deserve something. IT is simply responding to quality of information being emitted. Most people unknowingly weaken their signal by dividing it. They want a result, yet they are emotionally bracing for disappointment. They desire change, but remain attached to familiar suffering. They envision success, but their body stays tense, guarded, and alert. These mixed signals cancel one another out. Neuroscience clarifies why this occurs so consistently. The brain evolved to prioritize survival, not fulfillment. When something new is desired, the brain scans for risk. If the nervous system is unregulated, novelty is interpreted as danger. That interpretation triggers stress responses, immediately pulling the system out of coherence. This explains why manifestation feels slow during periods of anxiety or pressure. The brain does not allow reality to reorganize because it does not feel safe enough to release prediction. Prediction is how the brain maintains control, and control is how it believes it survives. Instant response only becomes possible when prediction relaxes. When the nervous system is regulated, the brain no longer needs to over-anticipate. It stops projecting the past onto the future. And when that projection dissolves, perception expands. You begin to notice opportunities you would have filtered out before. You respond differently to the same circumstances. You choose without overthinking. From the outside, this appears as luck. From the inside, it feels obvious. Quantum manifestation does not require you to send something to the universe. You are already transmitting constantly. The question is whether your transmission is clean. Clean transmission occurs when thought, emotion, and bodily state are aligned, not elevated. Aligned. This is why calm is such a potent state. Calm removes interference. Calm stabilizes the signal. Calm tells the field that nothing requires protection. And when nothing needs defending against, reality can reorganize quickly. Many misunderstand this and assume they must suppress desire or emotion. That is not alignment. Suppression creates tension, and tension creates noise. Alignment allows desire to exist without contraction. You can want something deeply and still remain relaxed about its arrival. That combination is rare and immensely powerful. This is also why urgency undermines speed. Urgency implies lack. It signals that something is missing right now. The field mirrors that state by extending the experience of not yet. The moment urgency dissolves, the signal shifts from "I don't have it" to "this is already stable internally." When that shift occurs, reality often responds in ways that feel immediate. A message arrives, a conversation opens, a decision resolves itself. Not because you forced it, but because the internal state blocking response is gone. Spiritually, this has always been described as faith, not blind belief, but embodied certainty. The kind that doesn't require reassurance. The kind that doesn't constantly scan for signs. The kind that simply rests. Neuroscience calls this parasympathetic dominance. The body exits fight or flight and enters regulation. In this state, perception broadens, creativity rises, and adaptability improves. All conditions for rapid change become available. This is the true secret behind manifestation that feels instant. It is not intensity. It is not repetition. It is not obsession. It is the absence of internal contradiction. When nothing inside you pulls in the opposite direction, reality meets no resistance. The field does not need time to catch up. Nothing needs resolving, so response appears immediate. This is not magic. It is coherence. What most people fail to realize is that manifestation does not begin in the mind. It begins in the body. The body decides first whether reality is allowed to unfold. The mind only explains it afterward. This is why affirmations fail, visualizations stall, and intentions dissolve when the nervous system is not aligned. From a neurological perspective, the nervous system acts as a gatekeeper. It determines whether expansion feels safe or threatening. If expansion feels unsafe, the system tightens, muscles contract, breathing shortens, attention narrows, and the brain shifts into prediction mode, scanning for what could go wrong. In that state, manifestation cannot be instant, not because the universe is slow, but because the body is bracing. Quantum coherence requires openness. A brace system is closed by default. This is why two people can speak the same words, hold the same desire, and visualize the same outcome, and yet experience completely different results. Point one is regulated, the other is guarding. The field responds to the regulated one because their signal is unobstructed. Stress fragments perception. In chronic stress, the brain locks into high beta frequency. Thoughts race. Time feels compressed. Patience vanishes. Everything feels urgent. This state is incompatible with clean signal transmission. The body signals that something is wrong, even if the mind is trying to imagine something better. The quantum field mirrors that contradiction exactly. When the nervous system is regulated, the opposite occurs. The brain shifts into alpha and theta states. Perception widens. Creativity increases. The sense of time relaxes. This is not spiritual language. It is measurable brain activity. In these states, the observer stops interfering with probability collapse. This is why manifestation often occurs when people stop trying, not because they gave up, but because their system finally relaxed. The body stopped guarding. The signal stabilized. Instant response does not come from pushing intention outward. It comes from removing the internal block. Most people assume resistance is mental doubt, but resistance runs deeper than thought. It resides in posture, breath, muscle tone, and emotional reflex. You can consciously believe something while your body unconsciously rejects it, and the field listens to the body. This is why people can believe in abundance while continually recreating scarcity. Their nervous system is calibrated to lack. Scarcity feels familiar. Expansion feels unsafe. The body resists before the mind even notices. When that calibration shifts, manifestation speed shifts dramatically. Neuroscience shows that once safety is embodied, behavior reorganizes automatically. You speak differently. You pause instead of rushing. You stop over-explaining. You move when clarity arises instead of forcing action. These shifts appear small, but they completely alter the signal you emit. From a quantum perspective, this is coherence becoming dominant. Thought, emotion, and physiology align. The observer stabilizes, and stability allows probability to collapse cleanly. This is why instant manifestation rarely feels emotional. It feels neutral, calm, almost boring. There is no spike of excitement, no desperate hope, no dramatic anticipation. Just a quiet certainty that something is already resolved. That neutrality is not apathy, it is integration. Spiritually, this state has been described as knowing, not belief, not faith. Knowing does not vibrate loudly. It does not seek reassurance. It does not scan for signs. It rests. The moment you rest internally, reality stops resisting you. This is also why trying to manifest instantly often backfires. The desire for speed introduces pressure. Pressure tightens the nervous system. Tightening reintroduces delay. The system must feel safe to allow reality to move quickly. The paradox becomes clear. The faster you want manifestation, the slower it feels. The more you release the need for speed, the faster response becomes possible. Instant manifestation is not about commanding reality. It is about becoming internally non-resistant. When the body stops bracing against change, the field no longer has to slow down to accommodate fear. This is the true mechanism behind stories that sound miraculous. The miracle is not the outcome. It is regulation. And regulation can be learned. Once you understand that your nervous system is the real interface with the quantum field, everything shifts. Manifestation stops being mystical. It becomes physiological, and physiology can be trained. When the body feels safe in the presence of what you desire, reality has no reason to wait. There's a precise internal moment when manifestation shifts from effort to inevitability. It does not arrive with fireworks or emotional highs. It arrives with the disappearance of inner friction. You stop arguing with reality. You stop negotiating timing. You stop checking whether it is working. That silence is not emptiness. It is alignment. From a quantum perspective, This is the point where resistance drops below a critical threshold. The observer no longer broadcasts conflicting information. Thought, emotion, and bodily state synchronize. The signal becomes singular, and when the signal is singular, probability collapses without delay. Most people never experience this because they reintroduce resistance the moment things begin to feel quiet. Silence triggers discomfort. Calm feels suspicious. The mind, conditioned by years of effort-based identity, mistakes neutrality for stagnation and urgency for progress. So it interferes again. This interference is subtle. It appears as checking, wondering, tightening the body unconsciously, or mentally rehearsing outcomes. Each of these actions fragments the signal just enough to slow response. Neuroscience explains this elegantly. When the brain senses uncertainty, it seeks control. Control reactivates prediction loops. Prediction loops pull attention into the past. And the moment attention anchors in past-based expectation, the future collapses into familiar form. Instant manifestation requires the opposite. It requires allowing uncertainty without trying to resolve it. When the nervous system stays regulated in uncertainty, the brain stops predicting. When prediction stops, perception opens. And when perception opens, reality reorganizes quickly. This is why the most powerful manifestors do not appear intense. They appear disengaged from outcome while remaining deeply committed to their internal state. They do not chase signs. They do not rehearse explanations. They do not brace emotionally for failure. Their body already operates as if the outcome is safe. That safety is a key. The field responds instantly when it receives a signal that does not require protection. Protection implies threat. Threat slows response. Safety accelerates it. Spiritually, this is what surrender truly means. Not giving up desire, but releasing internal opposition. Desire remains, intention remains, but the emotional charge around them dissolves. And when that charge dissolves, time collapses. This is also the moment when manifestation feels oddly anticlimactic. There is no spike of excitement, no rush of relief, just a sense of course. The outcome fits so seamlessly into your internal state that it barely registers as a win. That absence of emotional reaction confuses people. They expect manifestation to feel dramatic, but drama signals instability. Stability feels quiet. From a neurological perspective, this is parasympathetic dominance. The body is relaxed. Breathing is deep. Muscle tone softens. Attention widens. In this state, the brain integrates information faster, makes clearer decisions, and adapts more rapidly. Reality seems cooperative because you are no longer fighting it. This is why manifestation accelerates as you care less about the result. Not because desire vanishes, but because wanting is no longer charged with lack. Wanting becomes preference instead of need. Need is contraction. Preference is openness. The quantum field responds instantly to openness. This is the moment people describe with statements like, "It happened the moment I stopped trying," or, "As soon as I let go, it showed up." These statements may sound mystical, but they describe a very real internal shift. Resistance fell away. Once resistance is gone, nothing remains to delay response. Reality does not obey force. It responds to coherence. And coherence cannot be rushed. It can only be allowed. When you stop interfering, the field does the rest. There is a paradox at the heart of quantum manifestation that most initially resist. The less you need something to happen, the faster reality reorganizes to meet you. This feels counterintuitive because need has been confused with desire. But they are not the same energetically, neurologically, or vibrationally. Need is contraction. Desire is direction. When you need an outcome, your system signals lack. The body tightens. Attention narrows. The mind scans for confirmation. Even if you tell yourself you believe, the nervous system broadcasts urgency. Urgency is interpreted by the field as instability. The quantum field does not respond to instability quickly. It compensates for it. From a quantum perspective, attachment generates interference. The observer is no longer merely observing. They are manipulating probability emotionally. That manipulation introduces noise, and noise slows collapse. This is why the strongest manifestations often arrive when desire softens into acceptance, not resignation. Acceptance. The internal state shifts from, I need this to feel okay, to, I am okay whether this arrives now or later. That shift cleans the signal instantly. Neuroscience mirrors this perfectly. When the brain perceives something as essential for emotional survival, it activates threat circuitry. Cortisol rises, muscles tighten, breathing becomes shallow. The system enters protection mode. In that state, perception narrows, flexibility decreases, and the brain becomes conservative. It sticks to what it knows. In contrast, when the outcome is no longer tied to emotional survival, the nervous system relaxes. Dopamine regulates naturally. The brain opens to novelty. Decision-making becomes fluid. This state allows rapid adaptation, which looks from the outside like reality suddenly moving faster, but nothing actually accelerates. Resistance dissolved internally. This is what Neville Goddard meant by assuming the state. When you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, you are not pretending. You are removing the emotional gap between now and the outcome. There is no longing in that state, only quiet ownership. Ownership has no urgency. This is also why people often sabotage manifestation by constantly checking for signs. Checking is attachment. Checking asks reality to reassure you, and reassurance implies doubt. The field responds by maintaining the condition that generates checking. The moment checking stops, something remarkable happens. Attention returns to the present. The body relaxes. The signal stabilizes. Probability reorganizes with surprising speed. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop gripping. Caring without gripping is alignment. Gripping without caring is fear. The field distinguishes between the two immediately. From a quantum standpoint, non-interference is the most powerful position an observer can take. When you stop emotionally meddling with probability, the system self-organizes optimally. This is why reality seems to snap into place when attachment falls away. This is also why manifestation cannot be forced through discipline alone. Discipline can shape behavior, but it cannot dissolve emotional attachment. In some cases, discipline strengthens attachment by reinforcing the belief that effort equals worthiness. The real work is not doing more. It is wanting less emotionally, not intellectually. When wanting becomes preference instead of necessity, manifestation speed increases naturally. There is no longer a gap between internal state and external outcome. Without a gap, there is nothing for time to stretch. This is why people who experience rapid manifestations often say things like, I didn't even care anymore when it happened, or I had already moved on. They didn't move on from the desire. They moved out of attachment. Attachment binds you to delay. Detachment frees probability. Detachment is not coldness. It is trust embodied in the nervous system. Trust that does not require evidence. Trust that does not seek control. Trust that allows reality to respond without resistance. When you stop needing reality to obey, it begins to cooperate effortlessly. At some point, it becomes clear that manifestation was never about making reality comply. It was about becoming a version of yourself that reality can respond to without friction. This realization transforms your relationship with desire forever. You stop trying to activate things. You stop performing alignment. You stop monitoring results. And in that absence of effort, something locks into place. From a quantum perspective, this is when the observer and the observer are no longer in conflict. There is no internal debate about timing, no emotional bargaining, no mental rehearsal of outcomes. The signal is complete. And because it is complete, it does not require reinforcement. This is why reality feels instant in these moments. Not because time accelerates, but because nothing inside you is slowing the response. Neuroscience explains this as integration. The nervous system has accepted the desired state as safe, familiar, and non-threatening. There is no spike of excitement, because excitement signals instability. There is no rush of relief, because relief implies prior tension. What remains is neutrality, not indifference, but grounded presence. This neutrality is the most misunderstood state in manifestation. Many people interpret it as losing interest, faith, or motivation. In truth, it is the absence of internal opposition. The body is no longer arguing with the future. And when the body stops arguing, the brain stops predicting failure. At this level, action becomes clean. You move when movement is obvious. You pause when waiting is natural. You do not second-guess intuition, and you do not overthink silence. Decisions feel light. Timing feels precise. Reality feels cooperative, not because it changed, but because you did. Spiritually, this is a state mystics described as effortlessness. Not because nothing is done, but because nothing unnecessary is done. You are no longer trying to prove alignment. You are living it. This is also where manifestation stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like a byproduct. You are not using the quantum field. You're interacting with it as a coherent observer. And coherence does not require maintenance. It requires allowance. The challenge at this stage is not creating results, but sustaining the state. Old habits may attempt to return. Urgency may resurface. The impulse to check, force, or accelerate may appear. These impulses are not failures. They are echoes of the old identity. Awareness allows them to pass without reactivating resistance. This is why stabilization matters more than speed. A manifestation that arrives instantly but destabilizes you will pull you back into delay. A manifestation that arises from coherence holds. This is the intention behind tools like quantum rebirth, not to teach faster manifestation, but to help release internal loops that generate resistance and stabilize a frequency where reality responds naturally. The quantum grimoire exists as a daily companion to this process, grounding awareness into practice so coherence becomes embodied, not theoretical. Both are linked in the pinned comment for those who recognize this phase, not as something to chase, but as something already unfolding. Remember this clearly. Reality never needed to be convinced. It only needed you to stop contradicting yourself internally. The moment that contradiction dissolves, response feels instant because nothing is in the way. You do not manifest by force. You manifest by coherence. And once coherence is stable, reality does not need to obey. It aligns.